Yeah.
Slide the door for me.
It's the best way.
He knows he's allowed it.
Okay,
Welcome
Steve.
to our interns. Some of whom might take your jobs if you're on form today. Okay, when you're ready, Kirsty.
Hi Steve, how
Hi,
are you?
Kirsty.
If we could look back just quickly at last weekend, I guess it always feels like, more disappointing when you get a draw and you've been in the lead as you were. Where did it go wrong, do you think, against Luton?
Well, for sure, you're right. It definitely was a situation where the feeling was that we lost the 2 points, and it was self-inflicted, and we made some poor decisions on the pitch, some poor decisions off the pitch, no doubt about that were not with bad intentions, but didn't go to plan, and we suffered some consequences for it, for sure. So we have to own that. I have to own that. And we are doing, and we have done. Of course, we have to move on as well, because there's a game round the corner that we have to be more than ready for, and and that's what we're doing. But we're not going to make any excuses. I'm certainly not going to make any excuses. It's it's a level where mistakes can be punished, and that's what happened in that game. And as I said after, it was a real pity, because we were. It's a game we obviously should have won, and would have deserved to have won if we'd kept things going, and that's I said, that's on me as well. So, but I won't lose sight of the good things that we did in the game as well, and where we are a team and a club in transition, and we sort of embracing a lot of new things on and off the pitch, and it's going to be some ups and downs along the way in terms of trying to progress. So. As the game goes in isolation, it ended up being a disappointing one, and like I said, disappointing because of what we did as a team. But I also know that we are in a stronger position than what we were this time last year, with points and goal difference and things like that, and it shows that in general we're making some progress, and we're not going to lose, like I said, sight of that as well.
You talk about mistakes on and off the pitch. By that, do you mean that maybe substitutions in the game?
For sure, yeah. There's something. Obviously, you don't make any coach makes changes to have a negative effect on a game, and you always try and do it with the best intentions. But when it doesn't go as you would hope, then you have to hold your hands up, and as would some of the players would on the pitch as well. So for sure, it's we're not going to hide away. I'm not going to hide away from anything that should have been better, but I guess we have to live with it, own it, and use it as motivation to not do it again.
We're used to the supporters being very positive throughout. There was some frustrations shown last weekend. Do you think expectations are suddenly that bit higher?
Well, first and foremost, I think being 2-0 up at home and completely dominating the game and then not winning, there's frustration everywhere. So that's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't like it, obviously, but let's say we have to own that, and I certainly am. In terms of expectations, I'm not too sure. What I do know is this season ain't going to be easy. And if anyone thinks it is in terms of the training ground, myself and the team, then they'll be wrong, and we haven't got that mentality. We've had 20 odd years out of the Premier League. We're only our second season back in it, and it takes years and years to be a real established squad and team. So we're not long over 12 months of being back in the Premier League, and you'll have loads of case studies that you can compare to that have taken a while to really become established at this level. Look at Brighton for an example, in their first few years in back in the Premier League, and what they're doing now. And I'm not saying that's what we're going to end up doing. We all hope to do that, because you have to admire what they've done. But to think that we're only our second season in, and all of the new players that we've signed both last season and this season, and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the club behind the scenes as well. There's so much change in terms of staffing, and it's all with the idea of trying to improve. But it doesn't just happen. It takes a good few years. It takes a rocky road. It takes definitely some lows as well as highs to become the real squad, team, staff that you need to be more than comfortable at this level. And We're not at the start there, of course, because it's our second season, but we're definitely nowhere near the end, you know. And like I said, this season is going to be really difficult. There's no doubt about that. I think every season in the Premier League is anyway, but certainly when you're really trying to become a Premier League club, both on and off the pitch, and we are, like I said, in the progress and the transition of doing that. And I know that. That's why the work is every day. That's why we're not going to get too high after a win, and we're definitely not going to get too low after a poor result. Disappointed, yes, because we're competitive and we want to do well, but it's going to take real time, you know, to become the real club and team that we want to be.
And there has been progression from last season, and certainly when you look at away performances, we talked a lot about last season. This season, there's certainly been progression in terms of the performances you've been putting on away from home against some of the so-called bigger sides.
Another one coming Sunday, yeah.
Another one coming up. So, okay, you lost against Arsenal, but a better performance, not such a big scoreline. Manchester City, the same. Can you take confidence going into Liverpool?
Well, you always aim to go to all of these games, but you're talking about these tough away games with a plan and real belief that you can do well, and then try and put a performance in that can get some sort of result that would be great, you know. And this one would be no different at Liverpool for sure. There's the games you just mentioned. Some of the performances have been decent. I'm not going to say great when you don't win a game. But definitely decent and certainly an improvement from last year. But you know, we got to Anfield on the weekend. I was there last night for the European game, and you know, Anfield in itself is a challenge, and then the team that Liverpool are and the manager that Jurgen is means that it's right up there with as tough as it can get for an away game and a home game, but it's an away game this time. So we need to go there completely with a mindset of we need to be perfect on the day and really commit to doing that.
You've had to deal with a number of injuries so far this season. How are things
just a bit.
looking? Any fresh injuries or anybody returning?
Well, nobody's going to return to the starting lineup, that's for sure, which obviously is a bit of a frustration, particularly at the top end of the pitch, because you know, we're not blessed with options at the moment because of player availability, and Anthony has been ill for a few days as well, and he'll be touch and go, I think, for the game, and if he is available, whether he's available to start. So that's unfortunate, because obviously Anthony was excellent last week against Luton, and you know, these Premier League games are really high in every aspect, particularly physical, and you need to be, you know, feeling good about yourself physically to be able to play at the demands that the Premier League asks of you. So yeah, he's going to be a doubt. Like I said, whether he makes the squad or the team, I'm not too sure. Could be any of them things at the moment, but we haven't seen him for a little while. But no players returning, but that's fine. You know, we'd obviously hope for it to be a different situation, but it's not, and we have to work well, work at our best. I have to say, you know, after a good review, which was needed after the Luton game, training and the atmosphere has been excellent this week, been really focused, which is what it should be. But it has been, and you know, we go to Liverpool, like I say, hopefully with the right belief, plan, and commitment to do what we want to do.
And Willy Bolly okay after going off?
Yeah. He's fine. Yeah, he obviously had you know, the international games, didn't get back in, him and Sangare, till later than was ideal in terms of preparation, and that can have a knock-on effect. But no, Willie's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Damien?
Damon?
Hi, Steve. One bright spot is Chris Wood's form among the goals. I just wondered, is this form kind of picked up of late because he's got people breathing down his neck? I want you scoring goals last season, and obviously Divock Origi waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I think I've got to say, Woody obviously picked up an unfortunate injury, which was quite serious, put him out for a good few months, and he actually didn't return till a couple of weeks into pre-season. So he spent the whole summer rehabbing and trying to get ready. Got ready, and I have to say, you know, has been really good in training and looked really fit and fresh, and you know, is game time had been minimal because of, as you said, Taiwu's form and he was scoring goals. But when he'd come on, the obvious one is obviously Sheffield United when he got the winner. But when he come on, I felt that he was having the impact that you want from a substitution. And his opportunity then came through the unfortunate injury to Taiwu, and obviously he's picked the baton up and has done well. And he's played a couple of international games as well, which is good for match fitness. So he's gone from not having many starts to having quite a few in a short space of time, and that's what players want to do. Took his goals really well last week. He was disappointed he didn't score more because that's the type of guy he is. But for sure, you want your striker scoring goals, and for him to get a couple, and I think he's got 3 now, which is for this game time is quite a good return.
And you mentioned the fact that you've sort of picked up how you've been performing away from home. How much better equipped are you to go to Liverpool, who I think are unbeaten this season?
Yeah.
And get a result?
Yeah, well, we actually did okay there last year. We didn't win the game, so we're not going to make a song and dance about that. But we did okay there last season. But we'll have a lot of different personnel, and maybe they will as well. So you shouldn't really compare too much. But like I said, you can play well or poorly in games gone by, and doesn't mean that anything's going to be a certain way in the next game. We've just got to go to Liverpool, of course, respecting them and Anfield and all that goes with playing Liverpool away, while really backing ourselves to play at the level, and if we do that, we give ourselves the best chance of getting a result on the day, and in the end, that's what we want.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Jude?
Hey, Jude.
Just on Chris again, what's his influence like been at the club since he's been here, on and off the pitch as well?
Yeah, he's part of the leadership group that the players sort of voted in, so they voted him in to be part of that group, which tells you that he's a respected guy and he's well thought of and has leadership character. He obviously has experience and Premier League experience and experience of different situations as well in all parts of the table. So he brings that. He shares his opinion quite comfortably, and he's quite a selfless guy, really. Obviously, as a striker, he wants to play and do well and score goals, and like they all do, and they should. But he also is a thinker of others as well in the team, and he's a positive guy in so many ways.
And you've had 3 draws in a row now. How do you
I know.
to change those draws into wins, especially with the tough games coming up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last game against Luton was we've talked about that, and it should have been a different ending, and that's on me and on us. So I don't mind saying that and owning up to that. And even Crystal Palace, I look back on and think we the chances with the post and chances that we had and the performance that we put in. So it's just about continuing to really hone in on a lot of good things that we've done in them games, but you try and do good things to turn into keeping clean sheets and scoring goals, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to keep believing in how we play, keep believing in the brand that we're trying to become, and the way that we want the team to play, which is again another thing that's in sort of transition, but we're doing that to try and get the results that we want. So hopefully we can continue to do some good things that we've done in games while improving on the things that haven't gone so well. And if you do that, you win more games than you don't.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Jake?
Hey, Jake.
Thanks, Steve. Okay. Just a few follow-ups from myself. Seen that in Peter Club Sangari said that the team players have been drawing a lot of inspiration from the result you picked up against Chelsea earlier in the season. Is that something that you've been focusing on in the preparation?
No, I wouldn't say it needs to be spoken about. It was obviously a great result and one that can give us confidence and give us a reference point that we can do well in these away games against these big clubs who are normally competing at the top end of the table. But that's a little while ago now, and we've some new players in and some injuries and different personnel, and obviously Liverpool will be a different game to Chelsea, like every other game, and we have to deal with it in isolation as it is. But a lot of the things that you need to win a game in the Premier League, we'll have to be 100% perfect at on Sunday, plus probably some other things as well. So that's where our focus is just looking forward.
You mentioned, of course, you were at Anfield last night. What did you make of the performance from Liverpool?
Yeah, good. Yeah, obviously the result so tells you that the performance was good, and yeah, it's just you just want to get a feel for an opponent. It's a normal thing to do. They'll be doing the same with us and everybody else with whoever they play in this weekend, and it's something that we like to do if we can. It's not always possible because of schedules and things like that, but can just give you one or two things that you think might help you. But in the end, you know, as soon as the game kicks off, there's lots of things that can happen, and the main thing is that we try and be at our best, you know, and that's what we're going to aim to do.
And on the back of that, what kind of game are you expecting against them?
Tough one. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they obviously are well watched and sort of spoke about and documented team with the obvious strengths of, well, everywhere really, you know, of Trent's passing ability and Salah and Diaz, you know, offer great penetration, and they got fantastic footballers, you know, in and around all of that as well that are making a difference. But this is the Premier League. It's Liverpool. We know that they're going to be full of strong aspects, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a good influence on the game ourselves, and that's what we got to do.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
You too, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.